Then you do the intro.
Just start.
That's why she does the intro, I sit on the chair, put the cape on me. Fun fact about like Gwen, should we do something like that? She was born with a 6th toe. Did you ever get that removed, by the way? What's going on, Faded Culture? I'm Adrian and Barron, and we're back with another tutorial. Today we're gonna be breaking down the steps on how to do a mid faux hawk fade here on Gwen. Before we get started, be sure to check out our other videos as we are dropping weekly content for y'all. With that said, give this video a thumbs up. Do not forget to subscribe, and let's jump right into it. All right, guys. Again, thank y'all so much for tuning in to another tutorial. As usual, all the steps for this fade will be in the description down below, alongside with all the tools that we use in this video. So feel free to check that out. We're gonna start by using the wide side of the comb because her hair is a bit longer and I don't wanna pull any tangles out or anything like that. And we're just gonna start by combing the hair and trying to get it to lay in its neutral position. From here, I'm starting to slightly damp it so we can get ready for our shear work. And a tip that I do have for that is I suggest you add a drop or two of leave-in conditioner into your water. It helps keep the moisture in the hair a bit longer. We have 1 finger from the scalp. This is going to be finger length on top. And usually I would use this initial cut as my guide, but since this is finger length on top, I'm gonna just go ahead and move my way to the side, working in small sections as I move my way back, and go ahead and let that comb rest in between your index finger and thumb. So yeah, guys, I mean, it's pretty simple for finger length. Just make sure that you have 1 finger from the scalp, work your way in small sections. That way you don't have a lot of cross-checking work to do. Now I'm gonna use these vertical sections to start connecting that side length to the top. And once you're done working all around the head, go ahead and cross-check your work now, coming in the vertical direction versus the horizontal direction that we initially started with on top. Very, very simple again, guys. It's just finger length on top. This is probably equivalent to like a number 8 if we were to do clipper work. And we're gonna start cleaning up the sides, and we're gonna take this step up to the parietal ridge. If you're not familiar with the anatomy of the head, here it is. And again, this is a number 4 with the lever fully open. And again, this is just to clean out the sides, so that way it's a lot easier when we have to come in and set our guidelines in. And before we start, guys, my clippers are 0 gap. I will leave a link down in the description below to a video where we show you how we 0 gap our clippers. Now, starting with no guard lever completely closed, we're gonna come in and set our first guideline at that temple peak area and work our way back. And this fade is gonna be slightly different. We're gonna bring it into like a V shape towards the back, so we are gonna slightly start dropping it as we approach the back of the ear. Just make sure that you are easy with these guidelines, guys. Try to flick out as you reach the top of them. That way when we come back down and start erasing them, it'll be a lot easier. Make sure that you locate the same temple peak area on the opposite side and then work your way back. And always view your client from the front just to make sure that your initial guidelines line up. Now for the second guideline, still no guard, we're gonna completely open that lever, and taking that up about 1 inch or so, just make sure that it runs parallel to the one underneath so your fade is consistent throughout. Again, just make sure that you are flicking out towards the top. Be very easy, guys. Let the clippers do all the work. There's no reason to dig in. And just make sure that you are keeping a brush or a comb on your opposite hand to clean out the canvas every couple strokes. Now with my number 1 guard lever still completely open, we're going to continue the process and set in our third guideline. And to sum it up for y'all, guys, I do keep that lever completely open as I'm setting up my guidelines. Only thing that changes are the guards. Now with my number 2 guard, again, lever still fully open, we're gonna continue that process. And finally, with the number 3 fully open, this is going to be the last guard that we're going to use, since we initially started with the number 4 to clean out the sides. This number 3 is going to blend right into that. By now you should have your first guideline that we created with the 0, second that we created with the lever open, and third that we created with the number 1 guard, lever fully open. We're gonna start with that one and work our way down. With my 1.5 guard, I'm gonna close that lever just slightly, putting it into what I like to call a 3/4 position. It's basically somewhere in between halfway and fully open. Using mainly the corners of the clipper, I'm gonna start attacking that guideline. And this 3/4 position, guys, is just a rule of thumb. Feel free to adjust accordingly. Now with my half guard, I'm gonna leave that lever in that 3/4 position again as a rule of thumb and start with that second guideline coming down. Like I was mentioning earlier, it is just a rule of thumb. If you feel that you need to close the lever or open the lever, go ahead and do so. But this step is creating a faint line right above it. Do not take this guard any higher, as we will come back right now with the 1 guard and remove that. So like I was mentioning, now with my number 1 guard, we're gonna clean out that faint line that the half guard created. And seriously guys, try to clean your canvas as much as possible. That's why I always suggest that you keep a small brush in your opposite hand. As you can see here, I'm using mainly the corners of the clipper to get in these tighter areas, just to ensure that I'm not taking the fade up any higher, but I do remove any necessary hair. Now for that last line, we're gonna use a 3-step process, starting with the lever close, then we're gonna open it halfway, and then we're gonna open it completely. Working in one section at a time, as this last line is very tedious. Again, here the lever is completely closed. Now we're gonna open it halfway and taking each of these notches up just slightly, guys. And finally, lever completely open. And I like to run through this 3-step process first and then come back and do any touch-up work towards the end. Again, I'm just gonna go ahead and repeat that 3-step process all around the head. If you're new to our channel, guys, please hit that thumbs up button and don't forget to subscribe, as we do drop weekly content like I mentioned in the intro. I hope that y'all have been learning new stuff with us every week. We try to change up the clients every week. That way y'all can see that these steps pretty much work on any type of hair and almost every haircut. The only thing that we really change is basically the setup, where we initially set in our first guideline. But yeah guys, take your time with all this. I mentioned before that all my haircuts do take anywhere from 45 to 60 minutes. And yes, that is how I make my living. I know a lot of people say that that's not reasonable in an actual barbershop, when in reality, I like to focus on less clients and try to give them the best of my abilities. I think that will take you a long way, as word of mouth is always the best marketing. And if you really pamper a client, take your time with them, the word will really get out. Now with the half guard, we're gonna go ahead and do lever play, and this is just for any touch-up work. And the reason I say lever play is just because it's gonna vary from one side of the head to another. Some dark spots are gonna be harder to take out than others. And finally, we get to remove all the bottom hair using my cordless trimmers. And try to flick out as you approach the top of that hair, that way you're not creating another guideline as well. And yes, my trimmers are zero gapped. Here I just wanted to accentuate that V line towards the back. Wanted to make it pop, so we went ahead and added this little design. Using my Faded Culture Turkish straight razor, we're gonna clean that up. Applying a little bit of matte pomade on the surface. And here's the before, guys, in case y'all forgot. And here's the after, a mid faux hawk fade. The reason I say faux hawk, it is because we added not only the V towards the back, but I did bring up that parietal ridge a little bit higher than usual. I hope y'all enjoyed this tutorial, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. As always, don't forget to subscribe. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.